Hey everyone, I've made a video here going over your review that we passed out on Thursday that you were supposed to complete for homework. Remember, we've covered two sections in this unit, Unit 5, 5.2 and 5.6, and we're going to take a quiz when we return back to school. So you should have your paper out, copying down the work that I show, making sure that you have right answers and correcting any mistakes you might have, and then also make sure you're prepared to ask any questions if you missed anything. So the first question asked if 4, -2 is the solution to the system of equations. So remember what you're going to do is you're going to plug 4 in for x and -2 in for y into each equation and then solve to see if you get a true statement. Well, after plugging it into the first equation, I ended up with 8 plus -8, which is 0, and that does not equal -2. I don't even have to check the second equation, and I can just say no, that it's not a solution to the system. Oh, my dot moved. Question 2 asks if the solution, or asks what is the solution to the system. So we are focusing on where these two lines intersect, and that happens here. Not sure what's going on with that dot. It won't let me erase it. But that location is -2, 3. Remember, when you're naming an ordered pair, you start at the origin. You move left or right first. So we're moving left to -2, that's the x coordinate, and then up to +3, that's the y coordinate, so 2, -3. Some of you may or may not have heard in class or might not have written it down, but for this question, it asked, what's the solution? And then you could use the coordinate plane. And originally that first equation was 5x minus 18, and I wanted to change that to 10. I want you to actually be able to graph, or then this really just becomes a question like number 1. What I forgot to mention, even though these then do intersect at a nice spot, was that we also need to change one of the multiple choice answers so that the correct answer is included. So the red line is graphed first. You'll notice I started all the way down on the y-axis at -10, way down here. And then we're going up 5 over 1 in the positive direction. The second line I graphed in blue. We started at +2 and going up 1 over 1 both ways through the graph. Remember, we want those lines to go all the way across the graph and get a good visual there. These lines intersect at 3, 5. Again, we're going right 3 and then up 5, but that answer was not included in the multiple choice. So let's go ahead and change letter C so that it is 3, 5. I'll have this right for future years, but 3, 5 then is the correct answer. Question 4 asks which of the following systems of equations has a solution of 1, -1. You'll see I plugged 1 in for x and -1 in for y into all 6 of these equations. It has to work for both. So in letter A, it does work for both equations. In both of these, I got -1 equals -1. So that one you circle because it is the solution. In the next set, it worked for the first equation, but did not work for the second equation. So that one it's not the solution to that set of equations. And in letter C, again, it did work for both. So the ordered pair 1, -1 is the solution to both letters A and letter C. Question 5, which fraction is equal to 5 and 5.8 repeating? So remember, because the 8 is the only digit repeating, we're going to put it over 1 9. So this becomes 5 and 8/9. Don't forget, when there's a whole number portion to these repeating decimals, that answer will be a mixed number. Question 6 asks if 1, 2 is the solution to the system. I went ahead and plugged 1 in for x and 2 in for y and found that it did not work for the first equation. So that means you don't have to check the second one, and we can just say no. I have both 7 and 8 graphed. Again, the first line is in red and the second line is in blue. You'll notice in question 7, starting the red line at +1 and the blue line at -2, both lines have the same slope. Oops. just trying to highlight with my draw pen. Let's do that. So both of these lines have the same slope. They're both 3/2. So from both of those spots, if we're going up 3/2, up 3/2 in the positive direction, these lines are never going to intersect. And so this is one of those instances where we write no solution. There is not an ordered pair that works for both of those lines. In question 8, the red line, I started at +2 and went up 2/1 in the negative direction. The blue line, we start down at -7. We're going up 5/2 in the positive direction. These lines then intersect at 2, -2. Questions 9 and 10 are about converting repeating decimals to fractions. In question 9, we have one repeating digit. It is a 7, so we write it over 1 9 7/9. It does not reduce. Question 10, 1 and 36 hundredths with 36 repeating hundredths, 36 hundredths repeating. As we write 36 over 99, right? 2 different digits repeating, so we're writing it over 2 9s. Both 36 and 99 are divisible by 9, so the answer is 1 and 4/11ths. Then finally, the last question is comparing 3 different people who buy different amounts of coffee beans, different amounts of pounds of coffee beans, and we want to know who bought the most. So anytime we're comparing, we want to make sure that all of our the numbers that we're comparing are in the same form. So you can see Janice and Aaliyah are both in mixed numbers, but we have Bill that's in repeating decimal form. So we're going to put them all into mixed numbers. So Janice, we leave 1 and 8/33. Aaliyah is 1 and 3/11ths. And so unless our denominators are the same, we can't compare those either. So you can see I went ahead and multiplied Aaliyah's top and bottom of her fraction by 3 so that it could be in 33rds. So she purchased 1 and 9/33. So right now Aaliyah has purchased more than Janice. But now we need to look at Bill. So Bill bought 1 and 21 repeating hundredths. So 21 over 99, that's 2 repeating digits, so over 2 9s. Both of these numbers are divisible by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 99 divided by 3 is 33. So he purchased 1 and 7/33 pounds. So we can see there that Aaliyah is still the most. When we take our quiz, when we return to school, it will look a lot like this. So make sure that you've watched this video more than once if you need to. Go back and review how to graph lines and also how to write repeating decimals as fractions. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.